I've seen a lot of things in my years playing this game and Total War Warhammer 1. I've seen a lot of things. I've seen something similar to this before, but I've never seen this. This is almost a travesty. This is literally all shielded infantry except for one caster. He's the only one who doesn't have a shield here. And it's all shielded infantry, specifically with a generic Chaos Lord on foot with a bunch of items here. He did recently get a rework, and his items are now no longer have to be recharged in melee, I believe. Maybe the Filth Mace still does. Oh yeah, recharge it if engaged in melee. So Filth Mace still does, but it can give him terror and poison, a little bit of extra weapon damage. Pendant of Slanesh, this is the one that no longer requires melee to be in. Actually quite strong, 40% melee attack, or sorry, 40 speed, or no, 40 melee attack, 24% speed. There we go. Deadly Onslaught, he's also got standard die. We've got this guy here with all the kits as well, so expensive foot characters for the win, I guess. Deadly Onslaught, Hellfire Sword, Foe Seeker, Mark of Khorne. You can see the ranged Skaven. This is a Clan Scryer, very appropriate Clan Scryer build with Jezzails. We've got the ROR Mortars, Death Globes launching in here at this spam of infantry. We've got Warplock, yeah, Jezzails as I mentioned, Catapults, bunch of chaff, Ikit Claw leading the way of course, one Hell Pit, one Rat Ogre. I will say, for the sake of the Skaven player, I don't know if he's going to be watching this, but this weapons team, this mortar, definitely needs to be targeting the Chosen, wherever they're at. Can be hard to tell with this just giant blob of the same unit card, what's what. There are some Chosen mixed in here. We've got Chaos Warriors, of course, the Aspiring Champs, and the Hero Squad, but poor Chaos Warrior Lord, Chaos Lord, has just been lit up by Jezzails on the incoming approach. Jezzails are subject to missile block chance, but of course they have shield breaker traits. They do lower missile block chance, a little bit of a painful experience. But here we go, we've got some kind of a buff active here. Flaming Sword of Ruin, actually, all the things being used at the same time. Look at this Exalted Hero, up to 754 weapon strength, 73 attack, 69 defense. This guy as well, up to 800 weapon strength and 105 attack. Had some damage resistance there as well, and he is holding, despite having gotten absolutely shredded by Jezzails there, and you can see the Jezzails now firing in, but the Aspiring Champs form up a kind of bodyguard around their Chaos Lord here, and he manages to get some great RNG. Granted, Hell Pit's only got 42 attack, he's got 55 defense, right? Yeah, baseline, and with that big power spike, especially with like standard die and everything, he had a lot of melee defense there, so the Hell Pit maybe only got like 1 or 2 hits on him, since he doesn't count as large. The anti-large bonus doesn't apply, but of course, he's going to keep getting blasted. It looks like Ikit's Doom Wheel is at this point just keeping him locked on the ground, which is hilarious. I guess the stagger thing doesn't apply to that specifically. Maybe it just doesn't have power to always knock him over, but he's going to come in here and engage Ikit. Ikit tries to lightning strike him directly. Let's see if this makes impact. No, actually made a champion or two, but the champions actually, believe it or not, in this matchup, I think are maybe meta now. Like, because they have such ridiculously high stats, the low-tier Skaven troops can't really touch them. You hit them once with mortars, I think they'll die. Like, maybe not once, but like 3 times with mortars. The regular mortars, they'll probably die. The avalanche mortars are going to have a little bit of a harder time because it's such a small footprint of the unit. Like, they can't really make the greatest contact. So, yeah, interesting. They do have Vanguard as well, which can provide some nice shenanigans getting into a position quickly. But this spam of shielded infantry, the Chosen are basically untouched there. This unit of Chosen basically untouched here. The chaff has largely been bypassed, and now the weapons teams, they're not a whole lot faster. 37 speed with that strength in numbers, so the Warriors and the Marauders can chase them somewhat. The weapons teams might be able to turn around and fire a bit, but Chaos Lord is gone at this point. Let's take a look at what he's done, though, for his trouble. Getting absolutely lit up by Jezzails and everything. Gets 1,200 damage value, which is interesting. We'll have to look at how much he costs with that particular loadout, but that might actually be like close to paying for itself. I don't think it actually paid for himself, but we'll see. Thankfully, all these aspiring champs are around to provide that nice encourage aura, as well as the Exalted Hero, of course, so the leadership issues aren't going to be as bad with his loss. He's coming back. Oh, there we go. He's coming back. Blessed by the gods, honestly, to have even survived this long. Just absolute champ. Must have the luck of the gods on his side. I wonder who he's blessed by. Probably Khorne, I would say, given the amount of blood he's covered in head to toe. Oh, he's good. He's fine. He's gonna get away now. He's got 115 HP. So hopefully the gods will bless him, and next time he can come back and you know, really show the Skaven personally. But things are looking pretty good for his army at this point. If we take a look at the balance of power, things are pretty well in his favor. And just kidding, Tzeentch hates you, so you get killed by a Plague Claw catapult. Wow, very impressive, honestly, by that catapult crew to hit a single Footlord like that. That's very good accuracy for Skaven. Very impressive, honestly. Wonder what the odds of that actually happening are. Although, let's see. Yeah, they missed that Sorcerer Fire there just consistently. Finally get inundated. That Plague Claw managed to use up all of its ammunition there, which is pretty cost-effective. You can see the Skaven player just kind of getting chased into pieces at this point. It gets still quite healthy on his Doom Wheel, and in theory, he can cycle charge the rest of this infantry spam to death. The Chosen in particular, because they have such high melee defense, it gets almost out of ammo on his Doom Wheel as well, which is where a lot of its stopping power comes from. Yeah, the Chosen here, like half health, almost full health there. It's a lot to have to grind through for him, and the Chosen have good mass. You can see also all these aspiring champs all over the map. He will be able to charge them down, but again, only, what, 28 attack on his Doom Wheel. Baseline. Let's take a look. I don't remember the bonus versus infantry here. Oh, there we go, Ikit. I think it's a decent, yeah, 30 bonus versus infantry, so he is hitting for 58 attack. That's high enough to consistently get hits on these aspiring champions. I guess 62 defense, even then, it's like only a 25% chance to hit, give or take. But, yeah, Jezzail's getting continuously chased. The Marauders at this point are, yeah, they should be fast enough to keep up with the tired Jezzails. Everyone's tired, so Marauders should be able to catch up there, get their charge animation in. The Chosen also still just kind of chasing. So let's fast forward through this mop-up. The Sorcerer, look at this. The Sorcerer kind of cowering from Ikit. Because he's on foot, he doesn't want to get bullied. Comes in here and just stands by these Warp Lightning Cannons, which is a million IQ play, probably. Like, all I'm saying is that is a big brain play right there. Because, you know, Ikit's going to have a hard time pulling through his own artillery pieces. And big, thick chariot like the Doom Wheel can't operate super freely there. So, yeah, you see how he kind of gets stuck up a little bit there. Like, can't fully move there, pushing that one around there. And eventually the Chosen are able to get a surround on him and grind him down. So, very fun stuff. Big thanks to Blackthorn for sending that one in. Very interesting build. I actually have done something like this against Skaven, and I think Coast too in the past. But instead of this Foot Heroes squad, I would just combine all of these guys into Big Bird, basically, because he has missile resistance and he's actually mobile and causes terror. Here, I guess the Filth Mace technically causes terror, but I for sure thought they made the Filth Mace no longer melee conditional. That is pretty bad that it's not. Basically no items in multiplayer, in my opinion, should be melee conditional recharge, because you really can't get a lot of value from them that way. Like if your Lord takes a lot of damage early on, as he did, Blackthorn realistically only got one use out of that, right? So, anyway, let's take a look at the other units, though. He did even still get damage value. The Sorcerer hanging around to the late game was nice. Also, Exalted Hero doesn't cost too much. We'll take a look at his cost as well in just a moment here. Marauders did their job of dying, basically. One of them actually got some kills. The Champs also kind of just surviving, tanking out damage very well against those low-tier units. Chaos Warriors actually came in, did some damage, as did the Chosen. Look at this, 114 kills. 1,400 damage value paid for themselves there. The other ones not so much, but they are literally untouched almost, so that's awesome. Ikit, very good damage value on him. You guys know I've talked about this a little bit recently. We've seen Ikit quite a few times on his Tricycle recently, but I'm a huge fan of the Doom Wheel. If you use up all its ammo, it's shooting the right stuff, especially, it's very cost effective. Fortunately, you can't really pick and choose what it's shooting at, but you sort of can just by driving, you know, only by those things. It's not, can't always do it, but you can sometimes. Yeah, so Clan Rats I'm kind of out on. I think Skaven Slaves are basically always better than Clan Rats. Clan Vulcan's Tail Slashers are okay. They do tend to pay for themselves. Jezzail's got really good value shooting those characters. The Mortar, though, the Avalanche Mortar, it didn't shoot the Chosen, so it basically didn't do what it needed to. The Catapults, even using up all their ammo, still barely paid for themselves, which is interesting. Yeah, the Anti-Large Hell Pit Abomination literally had no large units to fight. That was rough. And Rat Ogres don't trade great against the higher tier, like Chosen, and I think even Inspiring Champions have too much stats for Rat Ogres to really hit hard. So, yeah, let's just finish up talking about these two Chaos melee characters. Yeah, this is maybe at the point of recording this, I haven't 100% decided what the title will be. To be honest, it might be just a general highlight, or it may be a highlight of the Chaos Lord specifically. Yeah, so on foot, and take a look here, fully kitted. He's only 1,500 points, so he came pretty close to paying for himself there, as well as soaking all of the Giselle fire on the approach, which was pretty decent. I would say even, like, especially on foot, this Deadly Onslaught, I mean, it's fun to combine it with the Filth Mace at the same time. You saw that gives him a lot of extra weapon damage, especially since the Filth Mace is only recharged in melee, though. Like, it is a nice item. The effect is nice, and it lasts 36 seconds, which is a pretty long time. But 90-second melee conditional cooldown is not good. It's really not good. Dependent of Slaanesh, I would definitely recommend taking more so now, especially if he's on a mount. Like the Dragon mount can be pretty solid, or even the Horse mounts. He gets a decent charge bonus and speed. Same thing with the Manticore, but I don't know. Given that he's just on foot, you know, how useful is this actually going to be? He did beat a Hell Pit with it, so there's an argument to be made there. But just out of curiosity, like if you only take him with a defense buff, 1,000 points, I mean, that's very cheap to have a Lord on foot who has kind of okay stats. I mean, granted, he's not going to do a lot for you, but you're not paying a lot for him. Chaos has a lot of very cost-effective kind of mid to high tier units that just have great stats overall as well, so there is an argument to be made that maybe you want to take a very cheap Lord and allocate your funds to all of your units. I don't know that that's necessarily competitive, but it is something you can do, certainly, for fun. It's just weird, though, because, like, taking the Chaos Lord on foot, it's, like, almost why, you know, ask yourself why you're not taking just Sigvald instead. If you just want a Foot Lord who's going to tank damage, Sigvald's not that much more expensive and will absolutely tank way more damage. So, a little bit of a weird one. I would say it's a straight-up worse pick, but I guess that's kind of the point, challenging yourself to try and use it. And, yeah, on his other mount choices, he's kind of okay. Just sort of here. 78 speed on the Chaos Steed is actually not too bad. And with that, then maybe there's a little bit more of an argument to be made for like the charge bonus weapon strength buff, like the melee attack buff. Yeah, I mean, there's maybe something there. I don't know. With the Dragon, you can really pull off some hilarious things with Lore of Fire and stacking all of these abilities together, but he gets super expensive and he's kind of squishy, to be honest. Doesn't have the most HP for a Dragon. Definitely lower than the Star Dragon. Has really good weapon strength. Melee defense is just kind of there. And the fact that you can also take the casters on a Dragon for lower melee power, but a similar kind of power level, and you don't have to take a caster separately, means that it doesn't see a lot of use. Chaos Dragon doesn't see a lot of use to begin with, but if you do see them, it's almost always a caster. But just so you are aware, you can stack all of these things, and it gets pretty insane. So hopefully you guys enjoyed watching this one. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.